Hello, warriors. Welcome to the U Movement. I am B, and I wanted to hop on today because today is a major shifting energy in regards to a closing off. It feels like we've been closing off for a while, but today is a reset day, astrologically speaking, and we're moving our way into new energy with the Lionsgate portal that's coming up. What does all that mean? That's just a lot of stuff. Basically, I'm sitting in the energy today of a very, it's like the precipice of change. And when you go through, when you turn a corner and you are preparing for something new, new beginnings, you look back and you take an honest look at everything that came before. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the processes of change, the processes of this awakening path that I have found myself on and you have found yourself on, and the different faces that you have to wear. I don't know if you're familiar with Joseph Campbell's the hero's journey, which shows the depiction of what the character goes through, the transformation that needs to occur on a hero's journey, on a spiritual quest, so that the adventure brings them to a new way of being, a new consciousness. And it's a wonderful depiction. You can type in Joseph Campbell's hero's journey and see the picture, which is often shown as like going down deep into the U and then coming back up anew. And so that's where we are. We're in the coming back up anew. But I wanted to look at it more from a perspective of the main character, as opposed to the story outside, all the things that you have to go through. I've done loads of videos on all the things that you have to face, all the challengers that come along this awakening path, this hero's quest. But more, I want to look at the individual, the character. So we start as something, and I started as a person with a different name, with a different identity, with a different life, and that starting place back in a lot of the photographs that I use. I have that one photograph of myself in a bikini out in Cuba in December of 2018, which was like the closing out of that cycle. That's when the health crisis really took a shift into a bad place. In 2019, things just got worse and worse, and I received my wake-up call then in 2019. So that's kind of the depiction of the character that I once was, this vastly overweight, incredibly unhealthy, incredibly depressed, just had given up, real state of apathy, and just waiting, a slow wait until death was the role that I was playing. And for me to become this person that I am today required a shift in an identity, multiple shifts of an identity, and you need to respect the roles that you have to play along this path. And so the first role that I had to play was that of the spiritual warrior. And so I took that persona on because I knew the challenges that in front of me were going to require a warrior's stance and a warrior's attitude, to have that dedication, the perseverance, the fortitude, the discipline, the self-respect, and the continual plugging away at something. So very in a much more masculine style of energy, of action-oriented movement, like I was determined to make change. I was determined to do different, because when you do different, you can be different. And I knew it was going to be a very long an arduous process to lose the amount of weight that I had to lose, to cure the health conditions that I had to cure, the diabetes, the fibromyalgia, sleep apnea, peripheral neuralgia, brain fog, memory loss, digestive issues, headaches, sinus troubles. Like, I mean, the list was like ridiculous. It was just so long. And so if you look at it from a perspective that if you put, 45 years into your life of not healthy choices, and certainly being involved in codependent relationships and trauma bonds was the most healthy of choices. Unhealthy of choices, did I say unhealthy? Yes, the most unhealthy of choices that exacerbated all the stressors, all the health conditions and everything else. So 45 years is 48 years, I think it would have been, is a very, very long period of time to be going down the wrong road. And then you hit a precipice of change, like I talk about, and you're like, no, this shit has to shift. I gotta unfuck this, because if I keep going down this trajectory, I'm gonna be dead in the next 5 years. So instead of being the just along for the ride character, the background character, the extra in the movie of your life, you need to step forefront into the role of a spiritual warrior. And the warrior works hard and is disciplined and does training and eats the correct foods and eats and does the exercise whether they want to or not, and shows up for themselves every single day to prepare, because they know that they're preparing for battles ahead. And listen, obviously my mind didn't know what would lay ahead, but my spirit certainly did. And so when I was motivated to step into that role, that persona of the spiritual warrior, that was gaining my physical strength, my emotional strength, and everything else that was waiting for me down the path. And so the spiritual warrior persona has kind of two aspects to that character. The first being the warrior in training, the warrior in preparation, and then the battle. Okay, and so then moving into the battle. So those are two distinct phases that I found myself on this journey. The preparatory phase, while arduous at times, was empowering, it flowed over with my bliss phase of my spiritual awakening, because all of a sudden I realized, I don't have to live my life the way that I have been. I can make effective change. I can do anything, it was the attitude, and I'm going to do this. And I created the ABLE program for myself. A for able, achieve one thing every single day. B, bliss. I was really connecting to the understanding that I had to cultivate more energies that were going to pull me up out of depression and into bliss. My second video ever did was all about bliss. Learning to self-love and reparent, reprogram, correct. L for love, A-B-L. And then E, exercise, in alignment and in balance, So I used the ABLE program as my training part, and it overlapped with that bliss energy of like, I can do anything, I can create anything every single day. I'm going to plug away at this one little bit at a time. And then the persona had to shift, because the trainee, the initiate, has to go into more difficult challenges and face challengers that sometimes you don't see coming. And on this spiritual journey that we're on, oftentimes those challengers that arrive, not only being your shadow aspects of self, are the people you hold most dear, your friends, your family. And because you're starting to shift the old paradigm, as soon as you shift, everything else shifts around you, and those that are around you may not support you. I laugh because there was very little support that I received. In fact, there was a mass exodus and a lot of loss that occurred. as I stepped into battle, because learning to put up boundaries and say, no, I'm not going to accept that kind of treatment anymore, meant that the warrior has to do the work within. It's a solitary journey that this warrior goes on. And the battles just continued, one after another of this energy of I got to keep fighting. I'm fighting for my life here, and calling in inspiration from warrior type energies that I respected: Batman, Frodo, the girl with the dragon tattoo, Rocky Balboa. I would channel those types of energies, because those types of energies said, well, what would they do in this situation? And I can keep going. After you go through the warrior phase of the initiation and the battles that have to be overcome and won, you move then into what started for me probably at about September of last year, the recovery phase. Now, I was not prepared for the recovery phase. I thought it would go a lot faster. I thought that once all the battles were done, that I would be like, it would be kind of smooth sailing. And I was not aware that the role of person in recovery or person healing was an even more challenging. It had its own challenges, different ones, because you're learning to reset the nervous system. You're learning to rest. You're learning feminine energy of restoration and profound healing. And that role has been the face, the mask that I've been in. Not so much a mask, because I share it out with everyone of what it is. What it is to recover from the awareness that you've been in an abusive marriage, and you need to now process through. So it's really this recovery person. If you want to think of it post-war, somebody goes to a hospital for respite for an extended period of time to recover the body, to recover the mind, to recover the emotions, to rebalance, to stabilize, to ground. And so that's the energy I've been in now, mostly. There's certainly been a couple more dips down into Dark Night of the Soul, and a couple more challengers that presented in the last 8 months, 10 months, I guess. But for the most part, it's been an extended period of time, as Christina Lopes would describe, as being in the void phase of your spiritual awakening. So the phases of the spiritual awakening are, your wake-up call, the bliss phase, the dark night of the soul, and then moving into the void, doing some grounding, which is, a lot of what I've been doing, and then reintegration back into society, stepping into mission. And these aren't like you just go from one phase to the next phase. It's not necessarily in order, and you don't, once you've done one, that's it, you're done. No, for me, it's kind of the spiritual awakenings, look, aside from bliss, looked more like the wake-up call, the bliss phase, dark night of the soul, the void, dark night of the soul, the void, dark night of the soul, the void, grounding, dark night of the soul, the void, grounding, dark night of the soul, the void, grounding, reintegration. So you can see it goes back and forth. It's a little bit of a dance. So the person that I needed to be in each of these phases shifted and changed. The identity that I needed to be shifted and changed. So going from the student to the master of a spiritual warrior, then going into the recovery and the healing energies of the feminine energies. And now I'm at another precipice of shifting into going from the survivor, the survivor is that is in the recovery stage, into the thriver, and wanting to get back to that place of groundedness, place of humor, place of joy, place of bliss, and start living life again, like in the light, living in the light. And so you need to honor each of these roles that you play. You honor the initiate. You honor the spiritual warrior and the battler. You honor the one that was in recovery, the survivor, and then you can move into the thriver. And that's where I'm heading now, is to recultivate new energies of, connecting to serenity, connecting to inner peace, connecting to groundedness, connecting to joy, to humor, some bliss. So I get back to, it's come full circle, because as I said, my second video I ever did was like, hey, where's bliss in this world that we're living, in this life? And so simple things is the mission. Things that I haven't been able to do for a period of time. Like I've been watching some comedy and some romance movies, and it's just peaceful and relaxing and chill. Or doing hammock therapy, which I highly recommend. Getting back and painting some art, which is something that you can only do if you're in a much more zen state of mind. At least that's the way it is for me. I can't paint because I do sacred geometry when I paint. And I can't paint if my mind's all in a state of... So yes, there's still a few challenges that need to be wrapped up with a bow tied on them to be called closed in my life, but shifting again from survivor to thriver, which is, the goal that Pete Walker talks about in his book, Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, From Surviving to Thriving, which I've mentioned a million times as a must-have resource for people who are going through a spiritual awakening if you have a lot of trauma. Because as the trauma resurfaces, it's got very useful tools and very insightful information. But the ultimate goal is to start enjoying life again and start feeling like a new version of me again, more relaxed, more at peace. Bring the humor back, bring the dancing back, bring in the bliss, and so. That's where I'm at today energetically, is this new precipice of change that's bringing in new. And I recently had some critique on how far I've managed to get. Like I haven't got far enough or something, and I'm like, yo, this is all the stuff that I've been through, and this is how far I've gotten. I'm not finished yet. Just you wait, like there's a whole bunch of years right in front of me that I can build. If I manage to get through all of that and survive all of that, absolutely. What's coming is what's exciting. What's coming is where I can hold space for curiosity and say, okay, what is next? What adventures await me next? Because as I'm tying up bows on putting everything in boxes and saying goodbye to all the things that I no longer need, all the people that I no longer need to have ties with, and cutting cords left, right, and center, and wishing people well on their way in peace and harmony, but not holding on. No need. I don't need. I have no needs outside of myself, and it feels fantastic because you've been following me, and the need of people in my previous existence was huge. Codependency was the root of a lot of my coping mechanisms and behaviors through the years, of desperately wanting, people to love me. And now I'm like, I don't care. I just don't, because I have my own love. And those that are showing up and showing me what love is so miraculous and so beautiful. And I'm so grateful. And I have all kinds of energies flowing into me in a plethora, an abundance of good stuff that's been arriving, one thing after another. And I've seen the miracles happen. I see miracles all the time, and it's wondrous. So I have zero knowing of what tomorrow brings, except I've been invited to a party this weekend. I haven't been to a party since 2008, or 2018, I think was the last party I was at. and that's exciting. I'm going to take each day as it comes, and each new experience as it comes, because it's all new. That's what thriving is enjoying the new, dreaming of the travel and the places that I'm going to go. And it's a wondrous new beginning, and I have faith, I have peace, I have love. What more could anybody want? This crazy journey has had highs and the lowest of lows. And if you're still in the depths of it, hold on, keep going, one step at a time. Identify where you're at and which role you're in. Are you in the initiated stage where you're training and you're learning and you're shifting? Are you moving into battles and fighting battles on any realm, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual? Are you in the recovery phase? And if so, give yourself time. It takes time to recover. It takes way more time than I thought it would. But you just have to go with the flow of it and allow your body to do what it needs to do and your mind to process through. Or are you starting to integrate out into creating a whole new, shifting from the survivor to a thriver? So I'm moving into thriver, and I dig it. I'm curious to see what it all was for. With that said, if you need help in any phase of this magnificent, crazy awakening journey, in help in transitioning, please feel free to reach out and let's set up a Zoom call. The way to do that is in the description below, or we can do an oracle read and see what the spirits have to say to you, and or distance healing. With all of my services are available through the description below. Send me off an email, and they're all by donation. And that said, peace out.